the News Channel 5 network, this is MorningLine with Nick Barris.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. Nick Barris here with you on this Wednesday. A good show for you. Your chance, if you'd like, to join in the conversation. We'll get the number up in a moment. Get some free legal advice from one of the foremost experts on malpractice in the entire state. Now, the malpractice and how it relates to what we're living in this pandemic comes into play. And we're going to be joined by our guest here in just a moment. But think about it. If you have a question about perhaps a nursing home, a facility where a loved one has gotten sick with COVID or something else, and you're not sure it was done properly, if there was negligence along those lines, that's where this all comes in. And I think there's going to be a lot of lawsuits potentially stemming out of what's happened during the pandemic when it comes to the level and standard of care medically. So with no further ado, let's introduce our regular guest. He's with us every month, and with us this morning by the wonders of Zoom is legal eagle Clint Kelly. Good morning to you, sir. Thanks for joining me, Clint.
Good morning, Nick. Good to see you this morning.
It's good to see you. Well, listen, I want to get up to speed with you. We haven't seen you in a bit, and now we're back in it, still in the pandemic as things reopen. And as things reopen, one of the first things you and I talked about when I sat down before the show is that lawmakers are back at it again. And as usual, this was something you predicted. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, there is a bill going through the legislature's House P.623, which just passed the Civil Justice Subcommittee. It's now gone to the full Judiciary Committee. What the bill aims to do is immunize businesses, including sole proprietorships, religious organizations, nonprofits, healthcare providers, and schools, as well as child care services. And the point of the bill is to immunize them from any liability for negligence related to COVID-19 infection.
Wow. All right, so if I'm a constituent of one of these lawmakers, and I'm saying if this passes and my loved one is in a nursing facility, of which some of them you're dealing with, and it can be proven that they were grossly negligent and my father died for this, you idiots are passing a bill that is going to make it so that they're not held accountable and nothing changes to protect others. Is that how I'm to understand this?
That's precisely correct. If negligence, if your father died as a product of negligently failing to protect him from coronavirus infection, that negligence was proven, the case would be tossed out of court.
Now, when I say that I'm sure there's two sides to this, and I can understand one side of protecting businesses as they open up to lawsuits. I mean, the truth is, Clint, if someone gets COVID, all right, I mean, how are you going to prove necessarily that they contracted it anyway from one place or another, even though I think it's probably easier to do that when you're dealing with a nursing home. But if it's in a place of employment and someone there gets sick, how can you say without a shadow of a doubt that they actually were exposed at work?
Yeah. Nick, I agree with you. I don't have a problem with a coronavirus bill that's aimed at protecting businesses that are open to the public. If you go into a restaurant or you go into a bar or you go to a fitness center, somewhere like that, because we can walk in and we can walk out and we can take proactive measures as we go in to protect ourselves. And we want these businesses to be open. I got no problem with that. The problem I have are in healthcare facilities where people can't go anywhere, particularly nursing home residents who can't just get up and leave. I mean, they're under the care, custody, and control of these places. They got nowhere to go. And so when they get sick, it's through no fault of their own. So if people are interested, and I think they should be, because every one of us eventually is going to wind up in a hospital again, or hopefully not in a nursing home, but we will at some point, there needs to be a carve-out, an exception for people who get infected in places where they cannot leave on their own. And that would be someone who's hospitalized or someone who's in a long-term care facility or someone in a nursing home.
Okay, so I'm just guessing, obviously, to include these various groups underneath this law, there's got to be a lobby that's pushing for this when it comes to assisted living facilities and nursing homes. Okay, and there are many good ones out there, but they're pushing for it. I'm just curious, from your perspective, when they approach a lawmaker, and we'll try to get one of them on as well if they want to talk about this. I have my doubts that they'll want to come on and talk about it, but if they do, we'll give them their say. What do you think their pitch is to lawmakers to rationalize insulating them from lawsuits not just when it happens, but when it's proven that they are negligent, okay? Because frankly, I've seen some cases around the country where, in my opinion, what happened in these nursing homes wasn't just civil, but it was criminal. So go ahead on that one, Clint. What do you think their rationale is?
I think business's rationale is very simple in that they don't want to have to deal with lawsuits, period. They just want to go on about their business and not be concerned about being sued because lawsuits cost money. That tends to also drive up insurance rates. And think about it, the problem with immunity, Nick, just the flip side of the coin, is it rewards bad behavior. That's the problem with immunity. No one seems to trust the courts anymore. They just want to, and when I say no one, I don't mean the general public. I mean, in particular, the business lobby, and the business lobby is the Republican lobby. They don't trust the courts, and they don't trust juries. So what they do is they run to the legislature and they say, let's just shut it down completely. And when you grant immunity to a lot of folks, then bad actors get away with bad actions. And it happens over and over again. And I do want to bleed this a little bit into what we have seen in the protests over the police misconduct. Not many people talk about this. There is qualified immunity for police officers who either beat or kill criminal suspects, and it is extremely difficult to prove that the police officer is liable civilly for misconduct. You always have to sue the municipality, the county, the state. They're the ones that provide the coverage, and there are limits to what you can do against them. When qualified immunity was passed, bad cops got a break. The bad cops could continue to engage in bad behavior, and you couldn't hold them civilly liable. That's why you're hearing that there should be changes to the qualified immunity law for police officers so that the bad police officers aren't rewarded for bad conduct, that there will be consequences paid in a court of law. By the same token, that's what ought to occur when you're dealing with nursing homes, you're dealing with hospitals, with people who can't protect themselves because they can't just get up and leave. Like, you and I, we could go into a bar and we could see a dirty bar or someplace that looks like it's cleaned well, or people not wearing their masks. We can just turn right around and walk out and be fine. But you're laying in a bed, 78, 88 years old, and you're totally dependent on health care, and some health care provider gets sick and gets you sick, and that person wasn't taking care of themselves, you got no options.
All right, so if this does pass and moves forward, how will it work? And we understand that you obviously represent several clients from the Gallatin facility that had some real problems. Does this go retroactively if it passes? If you filed and moved it forward, does it get grandfathered in, or are the active cases now going to be able to move forward, whereas maybe moving forward beyond it, new cases under the law will be protected? What do you think?
Yeah, that is the Gallatin nursing home question. And I don't have an answer for it, unfortunately. I suspect the legislature will try to apply this law retroactively to cases that are pending or cases that can be filed. There's a serious constitutional question about whether that can happen. But the effect is, if the courts look at this as being a change to the type of case, not necessarily removing the case, but the type of case that can be brought, I suspect that it's likely, not sure, but it's likely, that if the legislature passes this law, all those Gallatin nursing home cases are going to go down the tubes.
Wow. What's the bill again? Because that's something we're going to have to look more. I'm going to mention it in the news meeting this morning to get that out there. I'll get with Jennifer and Kyle, and they'll check it. It's right now moving through committee, you said?
Yes, it's House Bill 2623, sponsored by Curcio, who is the legislator, and Bell, who is the senator. It has passed the subcommittee, Judiciary Subcommittee, so now it goes right into the Judiciary Committee where it will be debated. There will be amendments discussed, and that will be a serious debate. My hope, my sincere hope, that people will get on the phone and call their legislators or send emails and say, look, carve out an exception for the nursing homes and the hospitals, because those people, the patients can't protect themselves.
Right. And if you would, but it's not just the protecting self. As you said, Nick, Clint, it's got to be something where there is negligence, because I'm understanding there may be a nursing home out there where somehow, some way, there's a nurse that maybe was exposed somehow by accident, was still taking the precautions that she tried, but it gets in there, okay? Now, I'm not saying there's necessarily liability there if they're still doing the testing and they're trying to be safe, but it gets in. My concern is when there's blatant negligence. There have been reports of it that can be proven, and I think you're working on some of these where they said, well, just keep that down, but we still need you to come to work. And when there's stuff like that, that's where I want to see it happen, you know? So I don't know if the legislation can differentiate in that way. You know what I mean? I mean, it's going to get in nursing homes sometimes, and it's no one's fault. It can show up anywhere. But there have been cases where we know there have been nursing homes, you know, around the country that actually tried to cover this up and actually told employees who were feeling a little queasy to still come to work. Things like that. That, to me, is negligence, and that's where they need to be held accountable.
Well, as you say, once you start trying to define the difference between negligence and gross negligence and malicious indifference, then it's all in the eye of the beholder. Then it becomes a question of who defines the terms, and that just gets so complicated. That's why we have a negligence standard in this state that's been around for 200 years that relies on the good common sense of judges and juries to decide was someone unreasonable in failing to deal with a threat that ultimately caused someone to get infected. That's been the law in this state for forever. It should be the law. Once you start tinkering with how much negligence you have to prove or how much recklessness you have to prove, particularly with people, again, who can't protect themselves, these are the most vulnerable people in our society, the people who are in nursing homes and hospitals, then you run the risk of people who've been infected who get killed from this virus because they were exposed to an infection they shouldn't have. They got no remedy in court.
All right, listen, Clint.
That stinks.
Yeah, I don't get it, and you know we'll research more into it, and we'll get both sides and find out where this stands. But boy, that's something that needs to be publicized. I mean, we'll get into this. Listen, we'll take a break. When we come back, Clint, more of our conversation, a lot more to touch on. We've got some phone calls coming in as well. We'll take those and remind folks about malpractice and how this works, as we always do. I'd like to give you a chance to do that. So we'll be back with more, and attorney Clint Kelly right after this.